Gotcha. All righty. Good afternoon to everyone. I am Amanda Glover. I serve as the LMS administrator and instructional designer at Fort Valley State University, which is higher education, but it's also a land grant institution, a HBCU, and we are also a part of the University System of Georgia. And so my presentation today is entitled Going the Distance with Cybersecurity and E-Learning, Techniques to Consider for Maintaining a Learning Management System. I am not, I'll say up front, I'm not an ISO, I'm not an information security officer, but because of my role as an LMS admin, and because after the pandemic or during the pandemic, we found that when we had to transition from face-to-face to fully online, and we continue to still use a learning management system. Now there are conversations at our system office level, which has trickled down to our campus and to my area, the discussion about cybersecurity. Are we making sure that our learning management system, that data, that student information, courses, how secure, or are we being good stewards of the data there? And so in this presentation, some of the things that Matt talked about, you probably will see here too, but it'll be more related to how it affects the learning management system. Cybersecurity is, I consider it to be defined as precautions taken to guard against crimes that involve the internet, focusing on unauthorized access to computer systems and data connected to the internet. And when I look at e-learning, I look at that as more of, when we define it as education, as you can reflect back during the pandemic, if you were in either K through 12 or higher education, using the LMS was the only form or one of the forms of communicating with our students. And so I consider e-learning defined in this particular presentation as education in which students receive instructions over the internet instead of going to the brick and mortar. And so what was the benefits of e-learning for us? At my university, we still continue to utilize our learning management system to offer fully online degree programs. And so we have found that it is cost efficient. We have found that the generation of students that we have now are not necessarily wanting to come to or have the opportunity to come to the brick and mortar. So offering the fully online or e-learning has become more cost efficient for them. In fact, in our university system here, you can the core courses, we have what is called an E-Core to E-Major program, but E-Core is a program where a student can get the first 2 years of their core courses fully online. So you see how the cost saving is with that. And then being able to access it anywhere, anytime, on any devices. This was definitely the norm for us during the pandemic, and we still have that as a practice today. And then being able to get insightful reports about your learners. With the LMS, we were able to do analytics. We have data hubs, and we have a program called Insights where we can pull data periodically for the decision makers on our campus when they need to know how often students are logging into their classes, how often are the faculty logging in their classes, are they in their classes on the first day of class, are they engaging with the students. And so we're able to pull a lot of data so that we can help make decisions and to deal with retention as well. And so when we look at cybersecurity, what are some benefits with that? It's vital for not only organizations, but as individuals. Think about everything that you're doing over the internet you kind of become a target for cyber attackers. And an institution of higher learning is definitely a what could be considered a gold mine for cyber attackers because of the intellectual property in the records that we keep here. And then social networking sites and data protection is also a benefit for having that cybersecurity, especially our students here. They're on a lot of social media platforms. So of course you want to ensure protection with that. And so just to bring about a study that I found in putting my presentation together, I want to do a little bit of research because, as I said, I am not an expert in the field of cybersecurity, and I'm not an ISO, but I have to work closely with our CIO and cybersecurity team at the system office and the local office here on my campus when it comes to dealing with the learning management system. And so what are some of the challenges in this study that I found? Cyber attackers, again, they are drawn to sensitive data and intellectual property. So I had to learn as an LMS administrator when I'm dealing with vendors or integrating third-party applications into the learning management system. If that system is going to be pulling data and sharing it across with another platform, how is that data protected? Are they doing risk assessments? Are we looking at having them to fill out certain types of questionnaires so that I can share that information with my cybersecurity team here on my campus, so they can look at the behind the scenes to determine if this platform that I'm using is really protecting the student data. And then we look at employees and students. Sometimes they can admit malware onto the network and not even wanting to. Here on our campus, our students, we have student housing. So we have over 1,000 students that live on our campus. So they're bringing their own personal devices. And of course, that could be a challenge. And in this particular study, it showed that it was a challenge when it came to students or employees when they bring in their personal devices, malware may have been affected on the network. And then control who has access to the data. So as a learning management system admin, I don't give administrative rights to the instructors to have full control of the learning management system. They have roles, and so there are limitations, and it's structured to where they have access to only just their courses and not to the entire database. And with the students as well. Also on our campus, working with our CIO and our information security officer, we do not have administrative rights to all computers. So the computer in my office, there is some access control with that where I don't have total rights to just install any software of my choosing. I have to go through a protocol to do that through the IT department. And so here I want to kind of talk about my role as a LMS administrator, and LMS is a learning management system. And on our campus, we use Brightspace by D2L. Your campus may use Moodle, it may use Blackboard, some others, but I'm not trying to sell D2L, but this is just what we are using in our university system of Georgia. And we have 25 campuses that are using this platform. And so one of my roles is to integrate single sign-on platform for the learning management system. And this is a way of trying to prepare for a better cybersecurity. The platform goes through a single sign-on platform. You may, for those may be familiar with LDAP or SAML, we use SAML authentication here. And as an extra security, my faculty, staff, and students that use the platform also have to do a two-factor authentication, and that's to ensure that the right person is accessing that platform. And then what I mentioned earlier about third-party integrations on my campus for our learning management system. Of course, it would be great if I had a platform that did everything, but we have faculty that use a variety of publishers like McGraw-Hill, Cengage, and some others. We have a plagiarism software turning in, and we have a proctoring service examining and a tutoring services. And those are what I call third-party integrations because they are integrated into the learning management system. So what that does is that platform is pulling certain student data into the vendor's database so that it can do things maybe like grade sync. So if an instructor is working or using a Cengage publishing in a course, in an online course, and if the grades are in Cengage, then those grades can also be filtered back into the grade book of the learning management system. And in order to do that, that means it's having to pull sensitive data between those two platforms. So before I go through that process, our vendors have to go through a vetting process. And that vetting process not only takes place at the system level office, but it also takes place on my campus as well through our information security officer. So I reach out to those vendors to make sure that they have completed things like a cybersecurity questionnaire that we have come up with as a system school that we send out to the vendors to get something like a SOC 2 type report or HEVAT, which is used in higher education report, so that that cybersecurity team can look at that document and work with that vendor to determine how they are handling student data. And we don't think about that, but as an instructor or in a course, we still have to be good stewards of our student data. And then part of my role is to collaborate again at this university system level. I am a part of a LMS administrator platform where it's 25, one that represent every school in the university system. And we have weekly standing meetings where we're discussing things maybe like cybersecurity issues that may have arisen that we need to address with our cybersecurity teams at both levels, or just how the database, the learning management system is functioning. What support can we give to our faculty in regards to training and so forth. And then again, in the procurement office now, any IT related purchases require that risk assessment documents are attached. So before I can purchase any IT related area item, and that's for any department on my campus, risk assessment documents have to be obtained from that vendor that we're trying to purchase from, and then our chief information officer or information security officer needs to be able to review those documents. So because of that process of ordering now is not as quick as it once was, or even integrating, it may take 6 to 8 weeks. So when I work with faculty, when they need to want to integrate, I have a form where they have to put in a request where integrations or requests have to be at least 6 weeks in advance or a semester before, so that I'll have time to be able to pull the necessary SOC 2 and HEVAT documents from our vendors. And also we are working with our vendors to make sure that what we call an LTI advantage, that they are utilizing the latest upgrades with that. And so that takes a little time because all vendors do not change or upgrade their systems just because your learning management system or your processes have changed. And so what are some future opportunities? So in my research with this, One, I found that in this article, it talked about a robust LMS online proctoring system. And so what is this particular study here, it depicts several detection analogies, and it presented on how students take tests. It talked about what are the different mechanisms that are in place, whether it be phone detection or even user verification. So even on my campus, as I mentioned before, we have a proctoring service that we integrated right after or during the pandemic, where we were fully online and our faculty needed to be able to proctor exams. So with that, our students are required with the proctoring service that we have to do a user verification. So it goes through an authentication process with that student where they have to present certain identification before they can actually take the test. And all of this is done remote. So they're either do a live proctor, which is remote, or an automated proctor. So that's where that AI or machine learning and artificial intelligence comes in to play with that as I look at it for the future, but it's already here with this proctoring service where it does automatic proctoring. So we don't necessarily have to have a live proctor, but the student still has to go through a type of user verification process. And so this is kind of to help deter cheating. And so another future research is cloud-based LMS system security. So on my campus, where we were on-prem with our learning management system, now we're cloud-based, and we're cloud-based as a university system. We use Amazon services, web services. So, so what are some questions that arrived in my research when you look at cloud-based? Is your data safe in the cloud? So when you're, you need to make sure that that vendor is addressing, issues to help safeguard your data, because now you're in the cloud. And then why is the online data security important? That's another question to address when you're looking at cloud-based, or you're going to transition from on-prem to cloud-based. When you're dealing with this is to kind of look at what are some authentication systems that you can put in place to help prevent from hackers guessing passwords. So we talk about strong passwords and that kind of thing with our faculty and staff when they're actually getting ready to set up logins for this. And then the LMS security features that can help to keep your data safe is another something that we consider, or what I found in this particular research. And so I relate to that, meaning that using the single sign-on. And again, where our learning management system was not single sign-on, now it is a part of the university single sign-on. So it is through a portal, which gives it that extra protection. And then we still have that two-factor authentication process. And so in conclusions of this presentation, as one who works as an LMS every day, I know that this is really the essential hub for educational institutions. So it's important that cybersecurity be very robust at all points of the LMS to be protected. And this is just a screenshot here of references that I use to help put my presentation together, where I got my research from. And I thank you for your attention. And if there are any questions I can answer, please do.